Hello, this is Amy, and I'm back once again with some comic news, which I hopefully will get done in 5 minutes. So let's get to the news. What comics that are out this week? We've got Thundercracker Spotlight, which was last talked about by Rob and Exvee, I believe, last week. But this week we have Transformers Mars Attacks. Yeah, it's a fun little piece. There's, I think, a second issue that's going to be coming out next month. So definitely check this one out. It's pretty interesting, and I think we might be. I think our discussion group is going to be talking about it later. So I'm not quite sure. Thought I would put it out there just in case. There is an exclusive Spotlight Megatron cover that was done by Alex Milne with Stadium Comics in Ontario, Canada. You can go to his DeviantArt page, which has all the details on how to get a copy of this comic and its wonderful cover. Volume 2 of Robots in Disguise is now available for purchase. It collects issues 6 through 9. And you can pick it up at your local comic shop or other online retailer, or you can pick it up digitally. It's been available digitally since same day as print. Regeneration 1 has also got its first trade as well. It collects the free Comic Book Day issue of 80.5 and then issues 81 through 85. Simon Furman talked about it on his blog as well. Check out the Facebook page for another creator commentary of Spotlight Thundercracker, but they also have one of Mars Attacks Transformers just out today, so go check it out. Also, Roger Slifer update. If you remember back this last summer, he was hit in a hit-and-run accident. They've been doing updates on the Facebook page, and a few fans have asked that we definitely not forget about him. So I wanted to put it in here just real quick to let you know. The Facebook page also has a couple links where you can donate and help out with any expenses that they are using to take care of him. And that is Slifer Needs You is the Facebook page. It's SLIFER Needs You. And you can follow that through Facebook. Also, last, certainly not least, I interviewed Margaret Scott and Mike Johnson earlier this month. So they are the writers on Rage of the Dinobots. You can check that out at theunderbase.libsyn.com, and there'll be links right here. And lastly, we have the solicits for April of 2013. Now, if you don't want to be spoiled, I would definitely fast forward maybe 3 minutes or la 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 la, or turn your volume down or whatever, because that's what I'm going to cover for the next 3-4 minutes. So we will be getting Robots in Disguise issue number 16 this month. We will also be getting, of course, More Than Meets the Eye issue number 16. Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and read these real quick, the little blurbs. The Robots in Disguise 16 is by John Barber, artist Andrew Griffith. Final battle, the leadership of Cybertron will be decided once and for all. It's an all-out war against the forces of Megatron. Will the Autobots wrest control from their attackers, or will the Decepticon flag fly over to Cybertron forever? Heroes will fall, and nothing will stay the same. Wow, pretty spectacular there. More Than Meets the Eye, issue number 6. Our writer is James Roberts. Our artist is Alex Milne. Aftermath. The battle for the lost light is over as the survivors bury the dead. Oops. One Autobot begins a secret journey that will change everything. This special issue marks the beginning of Remain in Light, the game-changing finale to the first More Than Meets the Eye mega story arc. Yeah. I'm very interested in reading this. This is just like, oh my gosh, it's the biggest tease. It's like, okay, things are exploding on both ends. It's great. Okay, so I'm not going to even speculate because I want to know, yeah, some of the stuff that's on the covers kind of does spoil it. So if, yeah, Drift. Oh my gosh, what did he do? Why is he challenging? What is it? Challenging everything? Okay. And the other one, of course, Robots in Disguise, Yeah, what's going on here? Metalhawk and Starscream and Bumblebee, they're working together. This is great. Yeah. Okay, well, bring on issue 16 of both of these. I'm excited. Okay. Also, out that month, we are going to be getting Regeneration 1, issue number 90, written by Simon Furman, our artist, Andrew Wildman. Too little too late, as Scorponok's dark reign comes over ever closer to spreading right across Cybertron. Grimlock launches a desperate counterstrike in the face of almost innumerable odds. Does the Dinobot commander really have one last ace up his sleeve, or does his plan amount to a glorious but doomed last stand? It would not be the first or the last of a last stand of something. This is why we have Last Stand of the Wreckers, right? And teams like that tend to go out like that. Well, will Simon be using that in this? Who knows? And does he really have sleeveys? That's where he keeps his armies. Yeah. Really bad joke. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like he and Scorponok are just duking it out, man. Duking it out. It's the best way to go, right? With fists. I'm looking forward to that. See where it's going. Especially if I'm liking the vibe with Scorponok. These, super bad guy. Big bad villain. Okay. Out that month, we are also going to be getting a Spotlight Trail Cutter. That's our next Spotlight in April. Woohoo! We've got some pretty fantastic artwork here. We got one by Livio Ramadelli, and then another by, looks like, Matt Frank, who is doing the artwork in Mars Attacks Transformers this month. So, fantastic. Okay, what it says. Stealth attack. Trail Cutter has a problem. The Lost Light has been taken over by the Decepticons, and no one else seems to have noticed. That would make me mad too. Can the Autobots' defense strategist single-handedly see off an army of infiltrators? And even if he does, will it convince his crewmates that he's got more to offer than kind words and force fields? I think the last time he was actually giving kind words was when we saw Fort Max kind of go nuts. It was great. He was kind of taking a dig at him. So I don't know if those are really kind words or if we're really just kind of having a dig at Trail Cutter / Trailblazer. Trail Cutter? Trailblazer? Yeah. Okay. Last, and certainly not least on this list, we will be getting in April, we will be getting Robots in Disguise Volume number 3. New artwork on it. Looks fantastic. We will also be getting Classics UK Volume number 4. Also, artwork on it. Looks fantastic. And then we're going to getting the IDW Collection Volume number 8. I am happy about this because I have all of the other volumes. And they are volumes. You could, beat somebody up with the book. It's always something that every Transformers fan, especially a Wreckers fan, has to have in their repertoire of collections because, hey, if people break in, you can use it to hit people with. Yay! We're going to be getting the trade paperback of G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. I believe this is the one that they had back in the day. Volume 3 will be out that month as well. So, reprint. If you have not got your G.I. Joe versus Transformers saga, you can pick that up. And that's pretty much it. So, that being said, let's turn over to a discussion team on comics for this week. Woo!
Warning! The following segment may contain spoilers for the most recent Transformers comic books. So this week the only book that came out was the one-shot Mars Attacks the Transformers.
And it was fun.
A little bit off the wall, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think it would have to be, that just from that premise. I think this was just about the best way to do it.
Okay, so basically what they did was take the setting ideas from the Generation 1 cartoon and mix it with a Mars Attacks story, but they turn the goofiness up about as much as you'd expect with a Mars Attacks story.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, that's probably the way to go. I really like the Generation 1 cartoon for, making fun of Generation 1, because it pretty much does that by itself anyway, but you also have a lot of room to play with the conventions and the tropes all throughout it to really accentuate that fact. And Shane McCarthy did a really good job on that front with this. I mean, I would say, just judging it strictly against the cartoon, everybody wasn't exactly in character, but at the same time, they kind of were. They were enough to really get the point across.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly like an episode of the G1 cartoon. It's definitely enough that it is firmly set with those versions of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see, after seeing this, I would kind of like to see him do like a mini series of self-contained G1 cartoon themed books. That would be fun.
Or even like a 2 or 3 page backup story at the end of every regular issue.
Yeah, that could work.
That's actually not a bad idea. One thing, as I was reading the early few pages of the issue, one thing that really struck me about how it was being written was it would be kind of like if Dragon Ball Z Abridged did a Transformers episode.
Yes, I think that's exactly right.
There's the same kind of irreverence to the standard plot information in favor of just like making everything humorous all the time.
Mm-hmm. My favorite exchange along those lines, and yeah, now that you say it just, I can see it happening in DBZ Abridged, would be, the exchange between Prime and Megatron as they're preparing to have to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't. Just please don't. Yeah, I just love that.
When I realized this was coming out, which has just been in the last few days, I don't really keep up with the comics news, which is why we have Aimee. Because the zombie crossover event thing they did before, I don't think was very well received for the way they wrote it. And I was kind of concerned about how this would turn out, but I have to say I'm really, really happily surprised with this.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about some of the other Mars Attacks books at this point. If they're done with a light touch like this, it could be a lot of fun. I'm
not sure McCarthy's writing the other ones, though, so that might not be such a sure thing.
Probably not, but I forget. Is Mars Attacks crossing over with Ghostbusters this time along? Because...
Not that I know of. I only know of what the alternate covers are showing.
Okay. Because I never read the... I think that the zombie thing did cover Ghostbusters, but... IDW's Ghostbusters comic actually kind of reminds me in tone of this issue, so that could actually work pretty well if they went that route. So.
That would be interesting.
It's a fun book.
Or if they did their Ninja Turtles, that's pretty well received too.
Yeah, that could work. I haven't read any of that, but it's...
No, but I've heard good things.
Yeah. And the fact that they have gotten at least Kevin Eastman, if not Eastman and Laird, back to write it after all this time is actually pretty impressive.
Not to get too off topic, but I mean, it's great to see how Ninja Turtles has gone in so many directions and gotten really successful since it's returned.
Yeah.
I mean, IDW is really picking up on a lot of successful stuff right now. They're doing a lot better than it seemed like a while ago.
I don't know what's changed. It seems like in the last year or so that things have kind of picked up there. I think they're really doing a better job with everything, actually.
Yeah. I've really been satisfied with most of the stuff I've seen come out of there. And this issue was a great example of that. Like you said earlier, I really would love to see a recurring book along this theme.
Yeah.
You could do a lot just parodying the G1 cartoon setting like this, not even with Mars Attacks.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's a knowing parody, but it's a very gentle one. I want to say it has a lot of respect for the source material, which parodies don't always.
No, they don't. This is really what you would call a loving parody.
Yeah.
And McCarthy is not exactly known for being a good humor writer in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he really hit it with this one. So
Yeah.
I mean, points to him for that. I just dread to even imagine what a grimdark Mars Attacks crossover could have ended up looking like.
Oh man, that would be awful.